Mr. Chidambaram, in conclusion, your leader Rahul Gandhi is in the United States, and as always, every time he goes abroad, he creates headlines for some reason or the other. Today's headline is he was in Washington, where he has said the Muslim League, when asked a question, and presumably it is a reference to the Indian Union Muslim League, which is in your state and in Kerala, is a secular organization. Do you concur with his views that the Indian IUML is a secular group?
I know the structure of the Muslim League in Kerala and Tamil Nadu. Many of them are known to me. Tamil Nadu leaders are known to me. I believe they are secular.
You believe
I believe they are secular. I don't know about the Muslim
What's your
League.
definition of secular?
Secular is that you don't indulge in hate against any other community. You don't inject a dose of religiosity into every statement, action, and you don't create a communal divide between the Muslim communities and the non-Muslim communities.
But now you are referring to the Muslim League in Tamil Nadu, not necessarily in Kerala.
Those are the only two units I know. In many states, the IUML is not a very significant organization.
Would you see Mr. Owaisi's organization differently?
Owaisi is not the Indian Union Muslim League.
I know, AIMIM, but you see him as not secular?
I don't agree with Mr. Owaisi's thinking or speeches.
Okay. In conclusion, as we end, the southern Indian states also feel that they account for 30% of the country's GDP as per RBI figures, around 30%. The 5 states, some of them could become trillion-dollar economies on their own. Do you see that also becoming a point of friction going ahead? You've been the finance minister of the country. Many of these states feel they are contributing disproportionately to the national exchequer and getting disproportionately less.
See, I believe in a united India. I believe that the more prosperous states must take some part of the burden of the backward states. That's my belief. But there is a serious concern in the southern states that when it comes to the Finance Commission, their share of the revenues is dwindling from one commission to another. When I was finance minister also, the share dwindled.
Yes.
Share dwindled and everybody protested. Therefore, we have to rethink the Finance Commission's mandate. That is one. Secondly, there is a feeling that in the grants and aid, which are not necessarily Finance Commission directed, where the central government has a large area of discretion. The grants and aid also, and in the borrowings, right to borrow. For example, Kerala Chief Minister is protesting that his right to borrow is being severely restricted. I think there are serious issues. I know the language of the Constitution provisions, but they were written at a different time. They were different. They were written in a different scenario. So we'll have to review those provisions of the Constitution so that the more advanced states don't feel that they are being shortchanged compared to the less advanced states. I won't call them backward, they are less advanced states. I think it's absolutely necessary to look at the center-state fiscal relations chapter of the Constitution and take a second look at it.
So what you're saying basically, whether it's center-state fiscal relations, whether it's delimitations, try and build consensus, try and work together, have more all-party meetings, hopefully attended by both sides.
I'll give you an example.
Yes.
We built a consensus on a GST. In fact, if our government had been in office, the GST law would be a very different law. More in line with the paper put out by Arvind Subramanian. But the animal that's come out today, the GST, has no resemblance to the consensus we built Remember, Yashwant Sinha constituted the group of ministers, and I took over, and we worked with them for 7 years, building a consensus on GST. We successfully built a consensus on VAT, and all the states fell in line. Nobody has any grievance about VAT. Next step was VAT to GST. We were building a consensus. The consensus was ready when Arun Jaitley took over as finance minister. And what has this government done? It has completely distorted the consensus of GST. GST today, many finance ministers have told me, non-BJP finance minister, and even one BJP finance minister has told me, and this is not the consensus that we arrived at when we agreed to sharing sovereignty as far as taxation is concerned. This is completely now dominated, dictated by the centre.
Even though decisions in the GST Council are to be taken by consensus, Mr.
That is on
Chidambaram.
paper.
You're saying it's on paper?
That's on paper.
Okay.